And to this year, it has been 62 years of safely wheel replacement. There difficult, and it's really cold here. The staff gave me a jacket to keep warm. Please have a look of the water and see how cold the weather is. It takes only 2 seconds and it will be frozen. On this international train, the Russia, the Mongolia tourists come here for business. And now it's approaching Spring Festival. The passengers are experiencing the bogie exchange on the train, and they are also looking forward to that. The standard gauge is 1435 millimeters, but the broad gauge is 1520 millimeters. That's why we need to change the bogie. Currently, we are driving this one is the broad gauge. We use a transitional rail. When the broad gauge enters, it will be broader, and when it comes out from this station, it will narrow down. And the broad gauge is approaching the outer side of the rail, but the standard gauge is in the inner side of the track. Just now, I touched the frozen water, and my hand is freezing, and it's hard to move. And our workers here They are working on such extreme weather, and for some work they cannot wear gloves. Now you can see the carriage is lifted up, and this whole chassis is exposed. Many viewers haven't seen the chassis of the international train, and this is the chassis. What's your name, Master? My family name is Wang. How long have you been working here? About 20 years. So in your opinion, what difficulty do you think the gauge exchange lies in? Because the weather is too extreme, too cold, for the breathing and to put your hands out. It's really hard to describe, just it's freezing. Yeah, I was also freezing. It's so chilly. Because all the tools here are ionic. If it's too cold, it's hard to move your hands, it's hard to work. Now let's see this bogie. You can see there is ice and snow. So during work, you need to remove the ice and snow on the bogie. Yes, we need to remove this. We need to remove all of this snow by hands or by hammer. And to clean the whole bogie, to make the iron exposed, then we can see whether it's broken or not. That's why we need to remove the snow every day. And today we've prepared a video because it takes time to lift the whole body up. So we prepared a video to introduce the procedure of lifting up. So Master Wang, I remember I learned a story from the internet. So many of our viewers, they are wondering about the waste on the train from the toilet. Yes, it's directly from the train to the bogie, so you can see the ice on the bogie because all the liquid from the train, from the toilet are frozen. So you see the ice, and there are many things, many wastes from the body are on this bogie, on this rack. So every day we need to remove it by hands. Yes, it's really extreme and difficult because if we use hammer, sometimes it will be exposed, even stick to our face. But why don't you wear masks? We don't want to wear masks because it will stuck our breath. It's really hard to breathe with the facial masks. We have masks, but it's difficult to breathe, and you will feel uncomfortable. So in winter, you see the weather is very extreme. So how about in summer? There is a saying here. in summer, it's the volcano, and in winter, it's the Arctic. Now, they are moving out the broad gauge, and we will change it to the standard gauge of our country. And all the previous gauge are removed. So how will you lay the new gauge at the correct place? You see there are two persons there responsible for the electric peak, and they will push the bogie to the correct place and to make the upper center pan stick to the lower center pan. And you see they are pushing this gauge, and the lower center pan and the upper center pan, they are in the same position. The speed of the rail is very slow. You see it's about 0.18 meters per minute. If you want, because we want to guarantee that all the passengers on the train, they still feel comfortable. And we have another batch of reporters. My colleague is on the train, and she will introduce the feeling of the passengers to us.
on the train DK44. I'm very excited currently. because K3 trains always travel back on Wednesdays, and because its departure on the evening of Wednesday and arrive back the next day. And it is settled that it will only arrive back on Saturday. We see that there are some passengers on board who's observing the exchange of bogie. Let's say hello to them. They can see us because they cannot hear our voice. We are still waiting for the bogie to be targeted. Mr. Wang, can we have a look of this wide gauge to get shunted? Because a lot of passengers in China don't really have the opportunity to see the exchange of bogie. Actually, the wide gauge does not have a very big structural difference, and currently the biggest difference is that the structure here has a buffer, and the wide gauge only has a vertical buffer, and that buffer is to ensure a more stable operation of the train. We can see that there are a lot of ice on the surface, and we are about to use a hammer to knock on the ice, because when we are going to decouple the bogie sets, if we don't remove that big block of ice, we will not be able to decouple the bogie sets, and this process has to be done each time. What kind of tool do we use to knock down the ice? We will use a very big hammer. It's around this size. And you have to stand on the bogie and remove all of the ice on the surface. And also the snows here has to be removed as well. And also you use screw, and as long as parts like screws or other parts covered by snow, then the snow has to be removed. If it is frozen and it's covered by ice, then you'll have to remove those ice. Let's go here. In this scenario, you see it's covered by lots of ice. All of these ice should be removed. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. This is the traction rope, and we use this traction rope to shunt the bogie. It all relies on this rope. During our operation, it is very difficult to remove this ice, and sometimes we make a special ice tool made by iron. Mr. Wang, I would also like to know, are we standing in front of the toilet? Yes. Oh no, actually this is the shower basin, and that is the water discharge pipe of that basin. We see that there's extremely ice covered here. you will see that a lot of ice is on the surface of the front and also the end of the carriage, especially during operation when it's already windy and sometimes there is snow. This scenario can be even worse. Yes, I see this is a very big project. Yes, sometimes knocking down those ice should take a long time. And after that, you need to cleanse all of the ice so that to expose all of the important parts. Only by then can we not neglect the important parts during the overhaul period. I also see that is it the opening part? Yes. Do we also need to remove that ice? Yes. Because we need to check if that opening is broken. Otherwise, we should replace it. You have to firstly remove the ice so that to check it. Yes. After we shunt the train and attach the new bogie. Okay, this is the old bogie to push in the new bogie. Now we are going to connect the bogie. Firstly, you have to decouple the bogie sets. You see that the bogie sets are already decoupled, and each bogie is separated from each other. You have to push in the bogie manually at this stage because it has to be accurately targeted manually. Do you hear that voice? Is it the new bogie? Yes. Is it a center pan? Yes. How do you target the upper center pan to the lower center pan? Okay, you see there is a hole here. If that stick is directly point to the hole, then they are correctly targeted. And also, when it's accurately targeted, we need to attach the brake. And when the stick is going down inside the hole, then the bogie set is attached. Currently, we are using this traction rope to shunt the bogie. How did we do this kind of process previously? Originally, we will use a jack. Actually, that's called crane. We will use special crane over there, the yellow one. And then we use that crane to lift the whole bogie.
So how do you make the position accurate? We have the numbers of each carriage, and the crane will pick the exact carriage. Like if I tell the worker that I need the crane to lift up 370, and then they will put the bogie at the exact place of this carriage. So in your opinion, with the time changes, did you find any difference in your working? Yes, technology comes the first. I think it makes our work safer. Now we are doing the brake procedure, and you see the center pan is accurately targeted to the hole. They are doing this procedure, and if the center pan is stick to the hole, and then the bogie, the new bogie, will be connected to the carriage. So now they are doing the step of braking. This procedure takes time. I did not shed your light directly on him. You see, even a slight deviation will make a big difference. We use the eyes directly to find the difference. This one is a spring. It's an electric circle, and it will also help you guarantee the accurate targeted position. And after braking, they will continue the accurate targeting of the center pan. So what's the pipe? That's the cable on the train. It's to transit the electricity. And now the center pan is accurately targeted. Then the center pin is connected to the bogie. So this procedure is to lift down the whole body, the whole carriage to the bogie. And you see the center pin is slowly entering the hole. So after this procedure, the bogie will be connected, fully connected to the carriage. We see it's really slow. Yes, if you don't carefully watch it, you cannot feel the carriage is moving. That's why the passengers on the train cannot feel that, because we don't want to make the passengers panic or shaking. It's really slow. You see, it's really hard to identify it's moving. And slowly, the whole center pan is lowering down. It's going down. we keep our eyes on the center pin and see whether it goes down smoothly or not. And now it's almost finished. Once the whole center pin is fully entering the hole, and we use electric pick to test, to inspect the procedure and within the rules and regulations, and then the whole procedure is finished. We bought this train from Germany, so it's an imported good. Yes, we imported it since 2005. It's been over 10 years. It used to be very advanced. What's this name? It's electrical cracker. It's like a huge jack. Yes, it's a jack. So the jack is leaving from the train, yes, because the bogie exchange is almost finished. The electric pick is stopped. And then this jack directly leave the train. They are riding bikes, but because it's so cold, they change their transportation ways. Look ahead. Please say hello to us. I have red dogs and yellow dogs, and we have this poster and couplets. So I want to ask our friends, where did you buy this? Why these are on the train? The passengers sent this to us. It's the waiters on the train. Just now we passed by Erlien Station, and the workers there, they prepared these gifts to the people who just come back. And these are also for the Spring Festival. I want to ask, where are you from? I come from Beijing, Changzhou. I'm from Mongolia. So you are a foreign friend. Can you say Mongolian? Say hello to our viewers in Mongolian. That's great. That means Happy New Year. Oh, you can speak both Mandarin and Mongolian. That's great. I also want to ask, why do you choose this train? I'm traveling back to Beijing. So where did you travel from? Ulaanbaatar. So you're traveling from her hometown. Are you going to Ulaanbaatar for traveling? Yes. Because you had vacation. So that means China is getting richer. And you can take the international train every time you want, and you can go to Mongolia. Do you know that months ago we held the 19th Party Congress? Do you know about that? Yes. As you were born in Beijing, after the 19th Party Congress, do you feel any improvement in daily life? Do you feel any difference comparing to previous time? Yes, I feel the weather, the climate, the air, the traffic are improved. And the subway is also very convenient. Yes, the hazardous weather is improved, is changed. So these were thanks to the 19th Party Congress. Thank you for your time. Have a good rest. And now let's go to the other carriage and find the next interviewee. They are all international friends. We can have a look at what are the international friends doing. Hello, excuse me. Can I sit here? You speak Mandarin? Oh, you travel from Hong Kong. Are you friends? So next, please help me translate. You see, we are really in a harmonious atmosphere. I want to ask, firstly, why did you choose this train? My friend introduced it to me. So I traveled from Moscow to Beijing. Although this train takes long hours, you can see the picturesque scenery out from the window. Yes, we traveled from Moscow and it was slowing, and we passed by Mongolia, and I have friends with me, so it's a lot of fun. We have a friend from Scotland, from the Netherlands, from France. I saw that they are wearing short pants because it's really hot here. See what we are wearing. We are wearing heavy shoes because the temperature is of huge difference in the carriage and outside. I really thank the workers in the railway station who made all this happen. And I want to again ask, you said you went to Moscow. How long did you stay there? I stayed in St. Petersburg for 3 days and 3 days in Moscow. And before that, I stayed in North Europe. And now I'm traveling to Beijing, and then I will continue traveling, and then I will be back to Hong Kong. That's great. Now let's talk with our international friends. He's from the Netherlands, Australia.
Is that the same? Oh, actually, he's from Australia, and this gentleman is from Scotland. I also like to ask, do you speak some simple Mandarin? I'd also like to have some interaction with the netizens, because the Spring Festival is just around the corner, and that is the most important festival in China. That's just like the Christmas in your country. And I'd like to invite you to send your beautiful greetings to the netizens. You can just repeat after me. Now, dear netizens, we'd like to wish you a Happy New Year. That's amazing. And now we are going to utilize this app platform because a lot of international friends can also watch this live streaming from that app. And also their relatives and family members can also watch you from this platform. Okay, we shall start one by one. No rush at all. He just said, first of all, he was very glad to travel with his friend. However, they got departed. Nevertheless, he was still very happy to be able to travel with that friend. Now let's go for the lady. She would like to thank all the friends she met on the train, and she's very glad to be able to meet you as well. I noticed that all of these international friends are very friendly and they are very passionate. And when I just get on the train, they were singing and creating a very good atmosphere. And he said he's very looking forward to visiting Beijing and most importantly the food in Beijing. He would really want to try Chinese food, and he's also very glad to meet all of us. Chinese food is very delicious. My English is very poor. I need to improve my English. I'd also like to ask, are you going to Beijing for tourism? They're going to stay 7 days in Beijing and they'd like to meet a lot of girls. Okay, now I'm going to introduce myself. I know that they are definitely going to visit the Forbidden City, the Great Wall, and the Summer Palace, etc. Beijing has a lot to offer, and that's our capital city. I'd also like to remind you that Beijing is currently very cold. Please do keep warm. Wear a warm coat. Because we just came back from Siberia. Beijing is just a piece of cake. Okay, you are really very friendly. And next, the year 2018 is the year of dog. Can I say that? The year of dog? And in that year, since this is the year of dog, we are going to give you this puppy as a present. And I see that some international friends have already received this gift. Now we will go back to another correspondent. Before that, let's take a group picture first.